let's talk about Suze Orman. And again, this is someone who I've heard a lot of people talk about. I've never actually seen I've never watched a Suze Orman show or whatnot. I've seen clips of her talking about life insurance. But what do you like about Suze Orman? And then what are the things that you say that are not okay with?
There's a lot to like about Suze Orman. I think she does a really good job. She's much more in tune with the data and academia than Dave Ramsey is. She talks about the 4% rule. She says the 4% rule may even be the 3% rule. They may need to update the 4% rule with more prevailing data. So kudos to her for staying in touch with the data. And generally, when I read a Suze Orman post, I find myself nodding and agreeing. She doesn't like annuities and she doesn't like life insurance. So this is sort of this recurring theme where, and I get it. I think that there's a lot of, and it's easy to conflate bad products with bad salesmen. And there's a lot of bad salesmen out there that are preying upon people who frankly may not need life insurance or annuities. Okay. I see people all the time.
They're using your books, they're using my books, they're using our videos to push their agenda. And I understand that it sucks.
I see that happening all the time where people will use my book as a cudgel to get someone to buy a life insurance policy. And that's just, I believe in using life insurance, but as one of multiple streams of tax-free income that don't show up on the IRS's radar, but ultimately contribute to you being in the 0% tax bracket in retirement. So I think Suze Orman is doing a good service by trying to knock these people who don't ultimately have their client's best interest at heart. But she does so in a very sweeping, one-size-fits-all way. So, for example, she will say, if anybody ever talks to you about cash value life insurance, you are to never work with that person again. Okay? You are to turn around and run the other way. Well, this is the one-size-fits-all guru dispensed advice that I think that it's lacks the nuance, and I don't think that they've done the heavy lifting to really understand how the product works and to really reflect upon this idea that if they make a sweeping condemnation of a given financial product, they're basically saying that there isn't a single scenario in which that particular financial tool might ultimately improve your financial situation. And so that's really the problem that I have with Suze Orman. 95% of the stuff that she does is terrific. I've seen her on Good Morning America say, look, 10 years from now, tax rates are going to skyrocket. You should be doing Roth IRAs. You should be doing Roth 401ks. You should be doing Roth conversions. I did a video recently where I said the surprising truth around Suze Orman's stance on tax-free retirement planning. And she basically is David McKnight minus life insurance and annuities. Okay. So she's very, very strong on that front. And I say as much in my book. I just have to take her to task on her, her monolithic position on life insurance and annuities for that matter.
It sounds like though she can be converted, because if she already is preaching the 3 or 4% rule, that really needs to be understood to appreciate insurance products like annuities and life insurance. And again, she's even preaching that, but then she's going back to rate of return, good, bad, good, the fees, surrender charges, good, bad, and she's not looking at like what's the outcome. And it's interesting because no one wants to throw away their Social Security, and no one's like saying, "Oh, you have a pension, like that's horrible, like you were left in the dark." In fact, like anyone who has a pension, is something like the best models we see are the people that have built-in pensions versus not, and it's essentially an annuity. So I wonder if someone like you could respectfully get her attention and potentially be able to share, and at least for her to say, hey, I'm not a fan of life insurance and annuities and the accumulation, which you and I both know that would still be wrong for you to be able to say, because you have to think at the end in mind. But for her to acknowledge that, hey, life insurance and annuities could be used to enhance retirement income, and only use it if you're thinking with the end in mind and you're working with a financial professional that has that. It'd be an interesting, I feel like she's a lot closer than any other gurus because she's at least acknowledging the withdrawal rates.
Yeah, I think that if she read my book, and she did so with an open mind, I don't know. I think this is probably one of the first books through a major publisher that takes direct aim at financial gurus. I'm not aware of any other books through any of the major publishers that are taking aim at the likes of Dave Ramsey. So maybe the unique nature of this book actually targeting these particular gurus will get her attention in a way that maybe, a YouTube video from you or me might not get her attention. So I think there's two contexts that I think she could really come around on. And it's this idea that life insurance is an excellent bond replacement. So Tom Hegna says this all the time. Reach into your portfolio, remove the bonds, replace them with cash value life insurance. You'll increase your return, you'll lower your risk, you'll lower the standard deviation of your entire portfolio, and you'll experience a better outcome over time. That's the first one. The second context, I think that would really resonate with. There's this idea of the volatility buffer, which you and I are very familiar with. And that's the idea that if you can accumulate 3 to 5 years worth of living expenses in your cash value life insurance by day one of retirement, and then in a year following a down year in your stock market portfolio in the first 10 years of retirement, you pay for your living expenses out of your cash value life insurance, that will give your stock market portfolio a chance to recover before you take further distributions. And that act alone will allow you to distribute as much as 8% of your stock market portfolio over time with a 95% certainty that you will not run out of money prior to life expectancy. I think those two strategies alone, if she looked at the math behind it, I think that she would come around. And I think that of all the gurus we've talked about today, she's probably shows the most promise.
I can't wait to see that sit-down conversation. I think that would. I think both parties would be shocked on how respectful that could be, and how there could be a lot of growth. Because if you get the financial professionals in line with the best marketing people, I think there's some good things that could happen.
Okay, folks, that was part 5 of my interview with financial advisor Caleb Gilliams. In the next 10 years, I'm looking to put 1 million Americans on the road to the 0% tax bracket. If you would like some help implementing a balanced, comprehensive approach to tax-free retirement that shields you from the impact of higher taxes down the road, head over to davidmcknight.com and click on the Connect with an Advisor button. I'm happy to refer you to an advisor in the Power Zero network that has been trained, vetted, and qualified personally by me. If you're a financial professional and want to learn how to become a certified Power Zero advisor, head over to powerzero.com and opt into my free video series. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I'll respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.